Hey my little raggities, what is up? How are we doing today? How are we feeling? If you are new here, I am Rena Swan, aka your new book bestie. And today we're getting into all the books. Well, not all, but some of the books that have hooked me from the very, very first page. So this is how we're going to do this. I may or may not read the synopsis. I may or may not read the first page, but we're just going to see. Okay. Let me just say, some of these books you have heard me talk about on this channel, and some of them you probably haven't heard me talk about on this channel, but we're not talking about that. Okay. We're focusing on the very first page. So let's get into it. So first on the list, I have Done in the Dark. Now, this book is about two estranged sisters, and they're not speaking because of a traumatic experience that they both had, and they're both pointing the finger at one another. So from the opening page, we get their grandmother who is on her deathbed, y'all, and she has some wise words for her granddaughter, Karina. Now, in this scene, what makes it so jarring is the fact that we are not even waiting a couple of pages to get to somebody dying, y'all. Grandma is on her way out and she is giving advice. I love when an author can start a story off with immediate emotion, because normally when grandmas die, the whole family just falls apart. Like, everybody's common sense just seems to go out the window. I know that's what happened when my grandma died. Like, everybody just stops talking. Don't nobody got no sense of sense, you know. So soon as I saw that, oh, grandma's on her way out, page one, like, it tells you that in the synopsis, but you think like, okay, we're gonna read a little bit, we're gonna get to see how grandma is loving on her babies. No, grandma is on her way out, page one. She's like, look, I ain't got that long. I done went from being diagnosed straight to hospice. Okay, like, time is ticking, so listen to what I gotta tell you. So I definitely think you guys should pick this up. This caused a lot of discourse in our book club because we was trying to decide, okay, who was wrong? No, she was wrong. No, she was wrong. Well, she did this and she did it. Y'all, it was so good. We had to meet up with the author and have a whole discussion with her. Once you read this book, scroll down on my YouTube page and you'll see the discussion that we had with Tamara Morgan. And even that was really enjoyable. So definitely pick up this book. Order from the author. She will sign your copy. She is such a sweet lady. And yeah, support Black authors. Kuna Matata. All right, moving on. Now, I'm not going to stop talking about this book until you motherfuckers read it, okay? So the next book is Heartbreak You by Johnny Sherry. You have 4 young women who meet up on an HBCU campus, and each one of them have their own style, their own personality, their own shit going on, but somehow they become the perfect group of friends and they support each other in the midst of the chaos. So the story starts off with Frankie, who is a Brooklyn girl who is struggling with a little bit of low self-esteem. She uses men. She thinks all they're good for is sex, and yeah, she don't care. She don't chase them, she replaces them. It's on to the next after she's done with one. So the story starts off with Frankie getting a Mario coins knocked out that thing. I mean, in it. Okay, now he thinking he doing something. Frankie just in the bed looking up at the ceiling. Once he get his little rocks off and he roll over to the side, she look at the clock. 5:24. Oh shit, my mother's finna walk through the door. You got to go. So he's scrambling, she throwing clothes at him. She's like, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta get up out of here. Sure enough, 5:25, mama is walking through the door. Frankie, she looked at the window, she said, you got to go out the window. He like, what? We on the 2nd floor. She like, I don't give a damn. So she pushed him towards the window, and he hanging off the window, whatever. The mama get the jiggle in the door. Frankie went, boom, shut the door. Hey, hi mom, how was your day? When I tell you, when I read that first page, I said, yep, Frankie is my type of bitch. Frankie is my type of girl. She said, look, you gonna either go out that window or you gonna catch these hands, okay? She was not playing with Raul. She said, look, I don't know about your mother, but my mother don't play that. You got to go. So yes, definitely check out the Heartbreak You series and the individual standalones for each character. So definitely pick up this story because it's not going to disappoint. Okay, it is on KU. It is, you know, a very, very good story. I love this book. I don't give a damn. We're going to keep talking about it till you report back and say, right now, I read Heartbreak You. I'm going to say, you know what? Okay, now I can stop talking about it. But y'all ain't listening to me. So I'm gonna keep recommending it. Okay, moving on. So next on the list, we have The Taking of Jake Livingston. Now, this is a horror / ghost story. And basically, Jake is from a working class neighborhood, but he goes to a very preppy high school. Now, everything would be fine if Jake didn't have the ability to see ghosts. And everything would be fine if there wasn't a school shooting at said school. And so he is witnessing all these ghosts from the school shooting and still witnessing the school shooter because the school shooter is dead. Now, these aren't just your typical ghosts. Like, if they've died traumatically, you just get to see their deaths being replayed over and over and over. And now that I think about it, how is Jake not freaking crazy? You just seeing ghosts reliving their deaths over and over. So the school shooter, Sawyer Doon, he has a special interest in Jake. And he's like, yeah, I got plans for me and you. Yeah. So Sawyer, he begins stalking Jake. And not only is he stalking him, he's starting to do some things. So Jake's life just becomes one huge survival game. Now, the very first page, what drew me to continue on and keep reading was this. It says, I'd hate to be the kid who died in PE class. Stephen Woodbead never saw it coming. He was body rolling to a trap song when the javelin hit his skull. He died on the spot. Went splat in the grass with the javelin sticking out of his forehead like the sword of King Arthur. Imagine being a kid and you're just seeing a bunch of deaths on repeat over and over. Like all the deaths that have happened at the school. Like no matter the time frame, from the time the school first opened up into present day, all these different ghosts just replaying their deaths. I would be batshit crazy. I would be nuts. Read at your own risk, okay? Next on the list, we have Varity. Now, I know y'all don't like this lady. Well, some of y'all don't like this lady. And I get it. But I'm not gonna let that take away from the fact that this was one of the very first books that made me realize that I like thriller. If you have not read Varity, it is about Lowen, who is a struggling writer, and she is tasked to finish writing a series for a best-selling author named Varity Crawford. Now, Varity Crawford, she can't complete her series because she's ill, and her husband Jeremy has hired Lowen to come live with them, finish his wife's books so that they can push that work out and it'll be completed. Now, when Lowen gets there, she realizes that Verity's office has a hidden memoir. And some of the things in this memoir is really not sitting right with Lowen. And she feels like if she shared it with Jeremy, then their marriage would definitely fall apart. So let's get into what drew me into finishing the entire book after reading page 1. It starts off very, very gory. It says, I hear the crack of his skull before the splattering of blood reaches me. I gasp and take a step back into the sidewalk. One of my heels doesn't clear the curb, so I grip the pole of a no parking sign to steady myself. The man was in front of me a matter of seconds ago. We were standing in a crowd of people waiting for the crosswalk light to illuminate when he stepped into the street prematurely, resulting in a run-in with a truck. Y'all, the man's skull was ran over on page 1. When I read that, I said, oh wow. Completely speechless. Y'all, I ate this book up. I was like a dungeon dragon. I was speeding through that complete book, and that was years ago. That had to be like 5 years ago when I first read Varity, and I ate it up. I enjoyed it. So if you don't fool with Colleen, I feel you. If you've never read a Colleen book, I feel like and you like thriller, I think you should start with Varity. Yeah. Okay, so next on the list we have That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. Now, this book starts off a little dark. We have a young lady who is bruised, and she wakes up on the dirt side of the road. She don't know how she got there. She don't even know who she is. So when she is found and taken to a police station, her father shows up with identification and says, that's my daughter, her name is Mary. But on the other side of town, there is a young boy who is trying to figure out what happened to his girlfriend, because they got into a really big argument and she got out of the car, slammed it shut, and that was like the last time he ever saw her. But her name was Lola. So we're gonna get into what's going on with Mary and what the hell happened to Lola. But on the very first page, what drew me in, it says, I think I might be dead. I try to gather my bearings, but I can't see. I feel nothing, not even my own body. The lack of sensation, the way the silence wraps me in a hug and squeezes is unnerving. I want it to stop until the pain comes. It hits like a full body punch. My mind scrambles to catalog what hurts, but it all hurts. I say, oh, poor baby. Like, poor baby, what happened? Who did this? So I had to keep reading to figure out who done what. Because why are you waking up in bushes and you don't remember a thing? Yeah, so definitely check that out. So next on the list, we have Jennifer Lewis, the mother of Black Hollywood. Now, I have not read this book yet, but when I was browsing to see what books I would want to read next, this was one of the picks. But this is on standby just in case I decide to DNF the books that I showed y'all in my TBR list for this month. And let's get into the first page and why I really want to read this book, okay? Now, y'all know Jennifer Lewis is a big shit talker. So imagine my surprise or lack thereof when she opened her book like this. Dorothy Mae Lewis was not a woman to be messed with. One day, when I was about 6, I held my mom's hand as we walked home from Miss Wood's store, where Mama had bought a bottle of Coca-Cola. Well, out of nowhere, her boyfriend Jellybean pulled up in his station wagon and called out for my mother, "Hey Dorothy, come here." Now, my mother was pretty much the queen of Kinloch, Missouri, and the one thing you did not do was summon her to do anything, anywhere, at any time. My mother ignored Jellybean. He said, "Dorothy, you hear me talking to you?" She said, "Go on somewhere else, Jellybean. Can't you see I'm with my baby?" Jellybean then made the biggest mistake of his life. He pulled the car over to where Mama and I stood, reached out the window and grabbed Mama's right arm and said, "You're gonna talk to me right now, Dorothy." I was still holding my mama's left hand tightly, aware of the time bomb that was about to explode. What I can tell you now is that it was all over in 5 seconds. It ended with Jellybean speeding away in a trail of blood that led to the corner where the station wagon had taken a sharp right and disappeared. And as small as Kinloch was, we never saw Jellybean again, and y'all wonder where I get it from. Y'all, after I read that, they just said, "Okay, Jennifer, I need to pick this up because clearly you talk your shit in real life, but you're gonna be talking your shit in these pages." Now, mind you, that was just the prologue. I said, now, what's the first sentence in chapter 1 looking like? This lady said, "After 2 weeks of intensely working out, I had lost not 1 fucking pound." I said, okay. Okay. You sold me, okay? Because I be feeling the same way. Like, I done worked out for 24 hours. You mean to tell me I still look the same? The math ain't mathing. I cannot wait to get into Jennifer Lewis's book, okay? And I know it's going to be amazing. I know I'm going to eat it up. I know I'm going to love it, okay? Anywho, I guess I'll let y'all go. Thank y'all for sitting and listening to me ramble and yap. If you have not subscribed to this channel and you made it to the end, you might as well lock in, subscribe. And also, I really want you guys to hit that bell because I am a mom of 3 with a husband and a dog and a whole lot of shit going on. So when 4:15 hits on Mondays and Wednesdays and the video go live, I promise y'all I'll be in the kitchen cooking. I'll be in my own little world, and I do not think to stop and share the video. So sometimes I'll share the video at 5 or I'll share the video at 4:45. It's almost never exactly at 4:15 when I'm sharing that the videos that I've posted is live. So do me a favor and hit the bell so you can be notified when I post, and also share with a friend. As you can see, the channel is slowly growing. So, you know, your girl want to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. So do me a favor and share the video, like it, and give me a heart in the comments if you made it to the end. And I will see you guys Wednesday. Bye.